party was trapped between burning trees, an encroaching wall of flame, and fire on all sides. 3 elemental creatures, shaped like deer, attacked as well, raking their flaming antlers against each adventurer, engulfing them in flames. In an effort to appease the forest and not anger it, Winry and Jack used magical frost to temporarily extinguish the burning trees blocking their path, and each member climbed their way through. Myetharia held the rear guard, allowing everyone to escape while she took the hits from the elemental deer. Unfortunately, those hits became overwhelming for her, and she was knocked out, still burning from their attacks. Winry ran back to carry Myetharia to the trees to escape, but when Myetharia regained consciousness, she seemed strangely unperturbed by the fires that still smoldered on her. Arriving on the other side, the party witnessed a face form in the rolling firewall, a draconic face with a fiery crown of horns. Calling himself Indomitability, Draconic Face demanded that the party follow for eternity. Jack attempted to dispel the flames with his wand of dispel magic, and the dragon's visage dissipated in a roar of defiance. The party took their rest near a smoldering village, taking time to investigate it. Within, they discovered a dried-up fountain shaped like a tree, and hanging in its boughs were a few seemingly dead bodies. As Rayland and Jack investigated further, the bodies leapt down from the tree and attacked. And as I had said in our little chat, as you got close to the tree on opposite sides, Jack and Rayland, you hear a rustling sound from above, and suddenly those dead bodies drop down next to each of you, landing on their feet, and hiss a cry as they bare their claws and fangs towards each of you. It is time to we're going to kick right off, and we're going to roll initiative.
Oi.
Did you just roll a natural one?
Oh, those monsters are going first.
I just rolled the natural one.
Yep.
What makes me feel any better, Torrent also rolled like poop, so. Quite the disparity in the initiative rolls here. Oh, wow, look at you guys. Rayland, though, very fast to react, It looks like.
Look how proud he is, too.
But yeah, please just punch Rayland over there. Rolled another nat 20, it looks like.
Very exciting.
I'm going to assume that Winry's not going to beat you, just because I don't think she actually can.
Holy cow.
Or at least that she wouldn't beat you, that she might tie you, but one way or the other. Rayland, I'm going to say you are the quickest to immediately react, even before the enemies who seemingly had the jump on you, as they land before you.
All right, I'm going to attack with my short sword. 18 to hit.
18 does hit.
9 damage. Before I get my dagger out, before I draw it, do I see anything on him, like a gem or a jewel or anything kind of animating him?
Giving a quick look over him, you don't notice anything on his body. Not even anything like in his possessions or anything like this. He basically is wearing, as it shows there, like the remnants, scarred, cracked remnants of clothing, but that's about all that you got there.
All right, dagger then. Whoa, is that a...
Oh, I think that's a crit. Look at you.
Wow.
This
Wait,
either be really good night for me
up.
or a really bad night. So 7. Do I just roll again?
Yes, you can do it that way.
It's 10 damage.
Very nice. 9 and 10 damage respectively, it looks like.
So 19, and then I'm gonna go 1, 2, slide down the hill here.
Very nice.
Bye, Jack.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, I'm sliding down. I'm running away. Yeah, I think that's as far as I can get.
How deep down is it again?
It's like 3 feet, give or take.
Deep enough that Rayland could jump down into it and climb out.
Then that's my turn. Thank you.
Very nice. A quick 1-2 punch, though, from...
Wait, did Winry literally just get a 24?
Yeah, I rolled a 20.
Oh my gosh, you did have a +4.
Insane.
I was wrong.
Absolutely insane roll by this group here.
Did.
We got 2 20s
That is amazing.
and 2 1s, right?
Yeah. And I rolled a 5.
Yep.
Torrent rolled a 2, so...
Well, you know what's funny? It probably all evens out. Like, if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things. Like, if you think about all the rolls that we did.
You deserve it.
No, just like across your 5 initiative rolls, you are like an average of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty true.
Pretty wild how the universe always heads towards parody or whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
Winry, you can go now, and then you'll just go before Rayland on your next turn. You are, on the other side here, and I hope you can get the picture here where these are the flaming trees that are still trees. And then you've got the stone stepping paths leading to the slightly larger stone at the end, which is like a little island right before the tree, the stone tree at the end.
Okay. Is a path?
So you could either go along the stepping stones if you wanted to. They're not slippery or wet or anything like this, so they're pretty easy to go along. Or you could jump down along the bottom of the dried lake bed, which would also be fine. It's only 3 feet down, like I said. 3 to 5 at its deepest.
I'll go there. And I'm going to use Ray of Frost at the one that Rayland just took.
Okay, go for it.
12.
12 does not quite hit. It is able to just barely dodge out of the way.
That's it.
It kind of turns towards you as Rayland slashes it twice and runs away. And it kind of hisses towards your backs as you're making the way away from it. On its turn then, it is going to similarly jump down along this this little slide of dirt, and it is going to chase you, Rayland. It reaches out with its claws and attempts to slash you in the back as you are running away from it. It does not do well, though, as it gets stuck in the mud. It only rolls a 7 to hit as it comes towards you. Kind of slips, slides, lands on uneven ground, and the claws go wild next to you. There's something about its claws that look weird. They look diseased, or something's going on with them beyond just normal claws. That is its turn, as it regathers itself and gets its feet back under it. The other one, having jumped down in front of Jack, will also take a claw attack towards you. Ooh, these are bad rolls, though, dice. 9 to hit.
Oh, I jumped back to avoid it.
Unable to find any purchase. It does hold itself ready with its mouth and fangs out, claws spread wide, waiting for you to make a move. That is the end of their turns, though. Bryn, it'll be you.
Okay. I run 20. Can I shoot from here, or do I need to be closer? I'm shooting at this guy.
You're fine from there.
Okay, Sacred Flame, so dex of 13.
If you step one closer, Rayland can get sneak attack.
But then heard. Dex of 13.
Dex save. That is a 16 to save.
Well, that sucks. Okay. And we just took a short rest, so everybody's good. So I'll take one more step right there.
Perfect. And getting within the threatening reach of the monster. Myetharia, you are next.
Okay, I'm going to draw my swords. As I do, as my hands make contact with my hilts and draw my swords, if anyone's looking, they can see fieriness to the swords. It looks illusory.
Illusory.
Like an illusion. Illusory, thank you. That's the word. Myetharia doesn't take notice of it, but she looks at the creature attacking Jack and then to the one closer, thinks for a moment, and then darts over the one closer and makes 2 attacks on it.
Kind of jumps through the flaming tree trunks, like right between them on her way over. So you can see a little fly off from the tree trunks, and actually her pauldrons of her leather armor start smoking and smoldering a little bit as you'll see the start of flames appearing.
First attack. 14.
14 does hit.
Excellent. And 6 points of piercing damage and 3 points of fire damage.
Very nice. as she comes flying in, Rayland, Winry, Bryn, you can all see it. The swords, as she has drawn them, have a little bit of a fiery effect around them now. As she pierces into it, the flames seem to flicker and gutter. You're not sure if the ghouls have some sort of a tolerance for flames at this point in time, but it is still having some effect on him. As you can see, it scald a little bit and singe, but not catching on fire or anything more dramatic than that.
I feel like that's always your response to Myetharia's hits. It didn't hit so good.
Dismay, guys. Dismay.
Just note, the sword pierces in just fine. It's just that the flames seem to be slightly lesser.
But the 3 points of fire damage didn't do very much. That is a 19 to hit.
Definitely hits.
5 points piercing damage. And 4 points of fire damage.
Very nice. 2 more solid strikes as you lean into them both. You can start to see, as he's not particularly armored or anything like this, but there's some pretty solid gashes along him. Torrent, for her turn then, seeing Jack kind of all off on his own, is going to start running in along the top path. And she says, I may not have been as effective before, but this is something that I can do. As she brandishes her holy symbol of the ship amongst the waves, she raises it on high and says, Undead, be gone! Flee before me! Turn undead.
Nice.
They both have to make a saving throw against it. The first one.
Yeah, I could have done that.
This is about to get real nice.
The first one that's near both of you does actually succeed on its save, and so it seems to resist the effects of the turn. At first, for a moment, it looked like it was about to be terrified and turn and flee, but then something inside it seemed to steal, and it resists it and faces you once more, anew. The other one more towards Jack, though. It instead looks terrified, ignoring Jack at this point for just a moment in time, to turn back towards Torrent in that blinding flash and cower almost around the corner of the tree. Jack, the other thing that you notice is a small crack seems to form in the base of the tree. You can hear it more than you can see it, but something went at the base.
When the turn undead went off, or just
When the turn undead went off.
Well, that's kind of creepy.
That is the end of Torrent's turn. Jack, it is now your turn.
I'm going to use my action to disengage,
Okay.
twirl away. 5, 10.
As you go
15.
back around the back of the tree, you notice what you had not noticed on your approach, which is there seems to be some sort of a opening in the back. You didn't notice on your way up, and you just heard a crack and a creak from back here, but there's just about a 1 to 2 inch sliver back here now that looks like a door.
Can I try to open it?
You certainly can.
I would like to try to open it.
You pull on this small sliver of an opening, just barely wedging your fingers into it and yank. And contrary to what you might have thought, the stone swings easily open as you instead find a passageway in the back of the tree. This passage seems to go downwards a reasonable distance, a 20-foot stairway, it looks like, going downwards into some sort of almost like basement underneath the lake that is bathed in blue luminous.
Wow. Okay. I would like to close the door and then continue on my way.
With the opening closed, I'm going to give that as your bonus action. I'd give you one of them for free, but not both.
That's fine. I just want to move more.
You swing that door closed back to like the 1 inch open that you had seen it initially, and then continue on.
Okay, that's it. That's my turn.
Fortunately, it didn't seem to be watching you carefully as you were fleeing. It was turned towards Torrent in a look of shock and paralyzation almost.
Yeah, I thought about not disengaging, but it's safer.
With Jack on the other side of the tree now, Winry, it's you.
So Torrent hit the one by the tree.
Correct, yeah, I can mark it for you actually. That'd probably be a smart move.
Are both of them hurt? Yeah, this one is definitely hurt.
It's the one that's near you, as it seems to have a significant number of slashes and its musculature was starting to separate.
I will punch it twice.
All right.
15.
15 does hit.
6 damage.
6 points of damage as you sock this one right in the face.
And 16 to hit.
That does hit.
5 damage.
Solid.
Very nice. 2 more solid strikes. As you move close at the start of your turn here, you start to get this overwhelming sense of, well, stench. If you could please make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no. Natural 1.
Oh, jeez.
You are nauseated to the point of intoxication, where you are in effect poisoned, but it's like you are gagging from the absolute wretched stench that's coming out of this.
Ugh.
Anything else in your turn, Winry?
Nope.
Very good. Rayland, at the start of your turn, please make a Constitution saving throw.
It's an 8.
You also appear to be nauseated and disgusted by the creature that's before you, and you will also be considered poisoned for this turn.
Is that disadvantage?
It would be disadvantage on attacks and ability checks, yes. Sneak attack doesn't care about that for getting it, but it will make it more difficult to land.
Well, I guess it's 11, so 16 with the sword.
16 does hit. So you overcome your disgust and nausea in order to make a strike and attempt to, and you do find purchase again.
8 plus 15 damage.
Very nice. With 15 points, you slash through it, and the last bits of musculature holding this undead creature together, it collapses into a heap on the ground. You hear this gurgly noise out of its throat as it says something like, "All this just to die."
Oh.
Make us feel bad for the scary guys.
Screw you. Actually, this is Rayland, so he's going to say, you. Bonus action, and sheath his weapons, draw his crossbow, and I'm going to climb up these rocks.
You go for it. They're only about 3 to 5 feet, so it's a fairly simple climb for you to get on top.
I thought they were taller than me. Okay, so I'm going to pop up here.
Well, I mean, they're like shoulder level for you to a little bit above, but you could still reach up there to be able to pull yourself up.
Picture
They're not
Rayland be
slick
like,
or anything.
Help me.
So
Like 3 feet is something Rayland can manage. Okay. I'm going to squeeze through here and then pop up on the stones over here. Is that okay?
totally.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. That's where I'm at now. And I have my crossbow out because I use my fast hands to sheath and draw and get it ready. So let's do it.
Very nice. Rayland preps, kind of sets up in a sniper position, looking at the other ghast on the far side. On its turn, it has very specific things that it has to do. It can't actually go any closer to Torrent anymore, and it has to try to get away as much as it can. I am going to, because of limited map space a little bit, it is going to run to the far side of the tree, getting out of Torrent's line of sight, and then it is going to curl up into a ball, trying to defend itself the best that it can over there. That is all that it can do on its turn, though. Bryn, it'll be you.
Knowing what Torrent did, I'm gonna let that thing lie. I'm gonna go up to Jack and just say, "Are you okay? You were there all by yourself." And I will hold a sacred flame if the ghoul comes towards us.
Okay.
I say, I'm fine, but I appreciate the backup.
That's all.
Myetharia, it's you.
I'm gonna do basically the same thing since we have no more enemies right directly here, and I will simply walk over here, and I will hold attack in case any aggressive creatures come near us within my reach.
Right. Jack, this is your first chance to see it, as she'd kind of been at a distance before now. As she comes running forward, there seems to be some sort of heat or a blaze around her sword as she holds it ready, staring off towards the forest to see if anything else is coming your way. Torrent will take a few extra steps in your direction. She's going to stand in the middle of this island here at the end, wait there and say, "We have a minute if you'd like to prepare something, but one way or the other, we should deal with it now. We have the advantage." For her action, she is going to cast Bless, and she is going to give a blessing to Rayland, Myetharia, and Winry. Time to strike is now. Let us do this and be done with it.
It's an extra D4.
Extra D4. That is the end of what she will do. Jack, it is you.
Going to step back a couple steps. I'm going to say, Winry, Rayland, get into position. And I'm going to ready a Ray of Frost to fire at him. Whenever someone else attacks it, I will follow up with that. That's it. That's all I do.
All right, perfect. Winry, it's you.
Where is it?
The last point you saw was it ran from this side of the tree behind the back of it and disappeared from your line of sight.
To the back of the tree?
Yep.
I was going to add in, Winry, that I'm using my wand. So I'm holding my spell with the wand, so I'm pointing it at him so you can see kind of where he is.
Or at least the direction.
Kind of step in the dried remnants, like cracking remnants of mud beneath your feet as you come around the corner. And you do find this undead creatures around the back. It seems to be cowering and defending itself.
I'll peek over to my friends. Well, I guess I'll do it. And then I will punch it.
Or make the attack. You do make it with disadvantage.
Ugh. Oh. 13 to hit.
Add a D4.
You do add a D4. You are blessed.
15.
Very nice. That does hit. Jack, you can go ahead and release your Ray of Frost if you'd like to as well.
6 damage.
6 damage. Very nice. Got it. As soon as you hit it, it kind of shakes out of its stupor a little bit. It's still defending itself, but it does not appear to be quite as defenseless anymore.
13 to hit.
13 does hit.
7 damage.
Very nice. 2 solid strikes. Jack?
That'd be a 6 total.
Oof. 6. As you're concentrating and waiting, Winry, being out of sight a little bit, surprises you, and you release it just a little bit too fast and shoot it off into the trees on accident instead.
So far, rolled a natural 1 and a natural 2.
Also, that's what she said just then.
You shoot it off a little too quick? Yeah, perfect.
Into the trees.
Anything else in your turn, Winry?
Nope.
All right, Rayland, it's you.
Winry's gonna block my shot, and I'm gonna say, Well, I guess I could run and gun. Can I dash?
You sure
As
can.
a bonus action, boy.
So on a bow, yeah, okay. So 1, so
Okay.
35, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna shoot my crossbow.
For it. At disadvantage,
Real, still, even though I'm not next to him.
it is defending itself.
It took the dodge action.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
All right, so 12 to hit.
Unfortunate. It was coming right at
Did you
it.
do a D4? You had a D4.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You, Myetharia, and Winry.
So 14.
14 does hit.
Nice.
Ooh, that bless coming through.
You looked like you took aim just right, and it was about to knock it out of the air, basically, with its palm at the last second. But instead, it like goes through the webbing of its thumb instead, and still strikes true in its chest.
Nice.
Plus sneak attack, so that's 11.
Very nice. 11 points of damage as the arrow flies true and finds its mark again.
Nice.
Anything else on your turn, Rayland?
No, that's my turn. Although I do want to mention that my sneak attack there, I rolled a 1 and a 1.
I saw that.
That's
Hey,
right.
guys.
Big time rolls.
That's it. That's my turn.
Very nice. Despite getting peppered a little bit from the back, it is still putting up the chase at who initially had startled it. And so with a hiss, it's going to run away from you, Winry. And it is going to dart across towards Jack.
Oh, come on.
Can I count this as an attack? Or do I just wait till it swipes?
Yes, you can.
Okay, then Dex 13.
Winry, if you wanted to, it is leaving your zone of control as well. Ooh, that's a 4E term for you.
Zone of control. Yeah.
That's a natural 1 on its saving throw.
Yeah.
Nice.
7, 2.
7 also.
7 radiant.
Very nice. Gets singed a little bit on its way up towards you and see it kind of recoil a little bit. Winry, were you going to take a strike or not? Up to you.
Yes, 23.
That definitely hits.
8.
Very nice. A punch to the back of the chest, sure, as it tries to run away. And then it kind of gets singed as it's running towards you, Jack, as this shambling mound comes towards you and takes a swipe with its claws. It rolls a 16 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
As its claws rake into you for 8 points of slashing damage. Please make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, those are not liking you. You might need to switch.
The Wizards of the Coast die are finally turning against me.
They've turned.
They've
You
turned.
use them too much.
That was a natural one.
The claws scratch you and kind of like score across your chest and neck. You can start to feel your body get stiff and lock up until Jack is seemingly standing rigid in place, unable to move.
Paralyzed.
Oh.
You are paralyzed, yes. Bryn, it is your turn next.
Hey, it's still the same day, so I don't have Luster Restoration. Sorry about that. I'm going to do Word of Radiance. Do a con saving throw, but it doesn't tell me how much.
It's your spell DC.
13.
That's con save. That is a 6. That is a failure.
All right, so he takes 1d6. 3 damage.
Radiant damage.
Radiant damage.
3 points of radiant. As you can see, Bryn speak out some word in a language you don't really recognize very well, and this burst of divine energy around you shoots out in all directions and scald the ghast as it came towards you.
Okay, I'm going to do 5, 10, 15. I'm going to stay right. People can move through me.
As you turn and move away from the ghast, it is going to take a swipe at you as well.
Bring it.
That is not going to hit. That's a 10 to hit.
Yes! I took the risk and it was worth it.
You can feel its claws kind of scratch along the back of your armor as your father's armor holds true.
Oh, it makes that sound.
Kind of nails on chalkboard sound. Yeah, exactly. You do make it over there, and if you're paying attention and looking at all, you can see this kind of bluish light just fading, but still appearing at the back of the tree. Myetharia, it's your turn.
All right. As I see Jack kind of freezing up a bit, I'm gonna run directly over and put 2 attacks to this thing. First one's a 10.
You do have bless.
Oh, this is right. Thank you. That was a 1, so 11 to hit.
Unfortunately, the first strike unable to find purchase.
All right. Gonna make a second attack. Oh, that's better. That's better. That is a 16 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Let's see. Does 6 points of slashing damage and 3 points of fire damage.
Very nice. It is barely holding itself together throughout these wounds.
I'm just gonna shout at it. Not him, me.
Very nice. For her part, Torrent will leap off of that little stone island. She draws out the axe that she carries along her back and takes a swing with it towards the undead herself. She holds it in both hands as she does so. She rolls a 15 to hit, which does hit. Shocking that she's going to do something in battle. Going to come rushing forward, raising the axe heavily above her head, and as it comes down, chopping down into the ghast, she cleaves its head from its shoulders,
Nice.
destroying the remaining one. With 2 bodies, one in the bottom of the lake bed, dried and cracked, as I said, and one just outside the ring of trees. You stand there, looking around for immediate enemies, but unable to find anything else, as Kristen herself, by herself, just kind of comes hopping along the stones in the middle towards you.
Hey guys, look at this. Oh, you're paralyzed. Hold on, I'll go back and fix you.
Oh, like, no!
Well, Jack, at the end of your turn, you can make a saving throw. Constitution save.
Hey, that's the other side of the spectrum. 21.
You are no longer paralyzed.
Okay, now let's do it.
Sun door. Point of interest. The zombie guys, are they actually like destroyed, dead, not reviving?
This is a little weird for you. They do not appear to have any significant fire damage. They are not on fire, and they do appear to be staying down for the time being.
They even though they were like cracked and stuff, like I thought they were burnt corpses when the way you described them.
Can I examine the bodies at all, or they did go to dust?
No, they don't turn to dust or anything. They are still like they're shredded from being slashed and things like this, but they are still full corpses. While they don't appear burned or anything like this, when they're in the tree, amongst the trees, your initial assumption was that they were dried out husks. And it was a reasonable assumption to think that they might have been burned or anything like this. But upon closer inspection, you realize that they are not. They're just kind of shriveled and worn, as though they've spent 30 years or 50 years, whatever, in undeath instead.
Yeah.
I didn't catch, but what's going on with Jack? Is he still paralyzed or no?
He is no longer paralyzed.
I saved.
That's good to hear. That's good.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for you.
Jack, you were the only one that took a wound, yes? Do you require a boost?
I won't ever say no to healing.
I know your resources stretch thin every minute that you are around. I should make use of my spells while I can. Here, let me. She lays hands on you, and you heal up 6 hit points.
Perfect. Thank you. That was very kind.
Tharia, and she kind of pats your shoulders a little bit. You're on fire again. What? Are you okay?
I'm fine, and I'll pat it out as well. I look down at the blades, and I think for the first time she's registering that they're on fire, and she looks confused, and then slowly sheathes them one at a time, watching them go out as she sheathes them. Anyways.
Do you feel okay, Myetharia?
I think so. I'm just a bit confused, a bit tired. It's been a long day.
For us all.
We'll figure it out. Oh, yeah, there's a door. I found a door behind the tree. There's stairs that lead down.
Maybe we can sleep in here.
Inside of a tree.
Well, it's not a tree, it's a fountain, but...
Well, yes, obviously.
Can I take a look down the doorway? It's just a stairway down, right? That's all. I missed a little bit of the description. I apologize.
It's like a 20-foot or so stairway downwards, and since it comes from the back of the tree, you'd imagine that it ends underneath the pool somewhere. And you can see this blue luminescence at the bottom of the stairway.
I'm gonna give everybody this signal, and then I'm gonna do like this, and I'm gonna stealth down there and take a look.
I'm gonna follow behind him.
Is Rayland okay? It seemed like he had something up his nose, maybe?
No, that's the signal.
Winry following closely on his heels. Both of you go ahead and make stealth checks as you slowly, carefully pry open this door.
I tap Winry as she goes through and do guidance.
Very smart.
Oof.
28? Natural 20?
I rolled a 10.
Are you guys still... Wait, you guys are still blessed too.
So, Rayland kind of slowly opens the door a little bit, starts creeping down the stairs, and he's like, oh shit, he forgot that he had his crossbow out, and it kind of bumps against the wall a little bit, but he recovers quickly, puts it away, and kind of stealths the rest of the way down from there. And as you get to the bottom, you start looking around this room with this shadow padding on soft feet behind you. As you get to the bottom, you look around, and there is a 20-foot in diameter chamber at the bottom that is bathed, like I said, in this blue luminescence. When you get down there, it radiates a sort of peace and patience, a serenity. The soft blue air whispers with a hollow, distant song. The chamber's center is dominated by a tall, white statue depicting an elven woman plunging a greatsword deep into a rampant stag. The sword, though carved of stone, looks like it was made of wood and is covered in vines that seem to entwine the elf woman's hands. At the statue's feet lie two immobile figures. The first is dressed in what looks like a uniform, almost like a soldier. Make a history check for me, if you would. Just Rayland, I think. Okay. You recognize the uniform just from a corner of your mind. It's a uniform of a Shahalesti soldier from decades ago. Many, many, many years. It's something that you've seen in a textbook rather than something that you've seen yourself. His body is wreathed in pale flames that seem to try to burn, but are struggling, like there's something that's suppressing them. The man's eyes are closed as he lies, as if he's in a deep slumber. Likewise, along the ceiling, tree roots grow down from the surface and they flicker with fire, but the flames are subdued, as if the light holds them at bay. The second figure on the floor is a young male elf with red hair, who wears the robes of a priest, though he carries no holy symbol. Numerous claw wounds mark his face and body, and he does not breathe, though his body shows no signs of decay. His arms are spread as if he fell in battle, and a mace lies inches from one of his hands. It points to an elaborate glass display case near the wall, which has been shattered, its contents missing. The last thing you notice, with a shock as you turn around, is Winry, standing at the bottom stair, watching you carefully, watching every move you make.
Holy
I got the signal
what?
to follow you.
Did they notice that I said that I was shocked? Did they hear me get surprised?
No one else hears you, but Winry notices that you kind of jump a little bit as you first saw her.
Winry, okay. That was very impressive, but please. I'm a spooked guy. Please don't sneak up on me again. What if I had my crossbow out?
Oh.
I'm gonna give Winry the signal once again, and yeah, hopefully she nods.
She taps her nose and kind of gives a nod and follows.
We're gonna head back up there, and I'll tell everybody what was up there. I'll probably start with Jack. I think there's something you and Myetharia are gonna want to see. There's some Shahalesti bullshit going on down there.
We heard a startled sound. Is everything okay?
Strangled gasp.
Everything's fine. Nothing happened. It's fine. I'm sorry that Winry's not here to respond to that. Rayland, you were kind of surprised that I snuck up on you. No, I wasn't. I was fine. I knew you were there.
That was a spot on, Cassie. 10 out of 10.
You nailed it.
Justin, you said that the priest was not breathing and definitely dead. Does that imply that the soldier was not necessarily dead?
Hard to tell. There were flames that were on him that he could tell, but they seemed to be subdued, as though they were struggling to try to actually burn.
Do we go down?
I would like to go down. Yeah, Myetharia and I can go down.
Yeah, so we'll all go down quietly.
Do I recognize the woman, the statue of the woman with the great sword?
Make a history check.
I as well.
You can as well. Yep.
Hey.
Both of you do immediately recognize the uniform of the Shahalesti soldiers, and both of you do also recognize, like I said, it is from somewhere between 20 and 50 years ago, give or take. Like, they are not fresh uniforms. You also can kind of pick out that it is a uniform of the Solehi Palansis, which is kind of an elite group of Shahalesti soldiers. Myetharia, I'll let you do this first. What was your history checks?
6.
20.
Jack, you've heard tell a little bit of a Netidar story, like from the elves within Gate Pass, when you were kind of looking around sourcing stories for songs and things like this. And you came across the story of Anyariel, and she was considered to be a hero of these Netidar people. You couldn't quite get the specifics on what she did beyond that she saved them from a oppressor, and in doing so, it cost her her life.
Saved the elven people from an oppressor, or saved the people in the fire forest?
Of Netidar, and this is before it was a fire forest. These were the elves who lived in this forest before it became fiery. And they were the refugees that you guys had met some of within that ghetto in Gate Pass. Myetharia, for your part, as you look around the room, and you, as Rayland implied, you kind of take a look at the soldier that's on the ground and things like this, you recognize this man. His name was Diashan Shadiel, and he was a former colleague of yours. I will post his name for you.
Thank you.
It takes you a little while to recognize him, as it has been probably close to 100 years since you've seen him. Maybe not quite, maybe 50 to 100 years since you've seen him. What you know back then was that he was a part of the underground within Kalanis. And while he wasn't ever a big-time player, he definitely helped out in his younger years. As you kind of moved on with your life, you'd heard that he had kind of cleaned up his life as he'd gotten into an arranged marriage and joined the army at one point. That was the last that you'd heard of him. But now it seems he drew some unfortunate task some time ago and has found himself here.
I'm going to make my way over cautiously. You said that something is keeping the fire at bay.
It seems to be, yeah. Something seems to be repressing it, as though you can see that it's constantly like trying to burn, but the flames just cannot take hold ever in any real volume. There's like at this slight simmer, like a range.
I have an idea. Myetharia, I know we just had this conversation outside and it made Jack mad. Can we try and light you on fire again? The reason why I ask, I think this blue light or something in this room is protecting this soldier from burning to death, and he's just sort of in like a stasis or something like that.
Don't see how lighting me on fire would prove that or not.
Well, it doesn't hurt you, and we could see if the flames do the same thing to you or if they flare up like normal.
Point of fact, I'm standing right here, and I'm still not good with this.
I'm all for lighting her on fire. Let's do it.
I guess we could just try lighting something on fire and not necessarily you.
If you wanted to investigate him further, you could also do so. Do you have the magical persuasion?
Yeah, is there a way I could tell that it was something in the room preventing it, or?
Sure. You have the magical persuasion lot. You can feel free to make an Arcana check if you'd like to.
Wow. Now this one's rolling really well for me.
That's not me.
22.
It's me, it's not me.
So Bryn, you kind of look around and you have this slight feel, given the roots that are coming into this room and the ceiling a little bit are also struggling to stay aflame. There's something that's keeping flames at bay in here. Jack, you also realize that this man, unlike everyone else that's been in this fire force that's been kind of on fire, he is together, he's whole, he is living, but his heart isn't actually beating. He's frozen in a state of suspended animation, as though someone has cast some protective magic on him to keep him from feeling any effects, but yet unable to affect the world either. It's like cryostasis.
after I approached him, I'm going to turn back to the others and say, I know this man.
You did?
Yes, not entirely well, but I do know him. I haven't seen him for years. But I do recognize him. I'm going to kneel down to him and see if there's any response he's giving, and I'll just say, Aishan, you hear me?
As you speak, and even if you shook him or anything like this, he's rigid in his pose almost, like he's trapped there, and there is no physical response from him.
Just this magic.
The case that was broken into.
Mhm.
Can I take a look at that to see, maybe tell what was in there? You know, like maybe there's some dust pattern somewhere, or maybe
Absolutely.
an inscription, or
Sure, make an investigation check.
investigation.
Also, similarly, can I check the statue if I can find any like source of power or inscription or magic words or?
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check as well.
Investigation 18.
You kind of look over this small little case, and it is so straight ahead when you get down the stairs is that statue that I was talking about, with the woman plunging the great sword into the stag, with the vines that seem to come up from the great sword and entangling her hand. Just off to the side of that, as though almost like a holy relic of some sort, is where this case was. And it had glass that had been shattered to break into it. As you give it a once over, look around, try to pick out anything that you can tell about it, it looks like this is not fresh. This has happened quite a long time ago. But the only thing that's of interest that you notice is a single strand of hair. It looks like it is a long, golden, like very bright golden strand of hair that seems to have just been lodged within the corners of the glass breakage, almost like it got ripped out from either someone or something that was left inside when whatever was inside was taken.
The natural 20 minus 1, so 19.
Looking at the statue itself, there is no plaque, there's no naming, there's no nothing like this, as though you were expected to know who this was if you came here. There isn't anything that explains it any further. In fact, there's no plaques on the relic case either. Nothing that makes it obvious or anything like this of what would have been in there. But something was contained in there, and you can tell, similar to what Rayland could tell, it's in a position that implies that it was some sort of like holy relic to these people, to whoever was coming here.
Is the case big enough to have held a great sword?
No, not even close. The case is probably about 8 inches by 8 inches, give or take, in
Okay.
terms of its top size. And then it's on like a little pedestal, basically, that's like 2.5 feet tall, give or take,
Okay.
where it's something that would be seeable at like waist height, give or take. But the glass on it is about 8 inches cubed.
Okay.
This is a different case than the one that I'm looking at right now?
No, it's the same one. And it has been shattered. The glass has been shattered in as if someone struck it from above, cracking the glass down inwards in order to get at what was inside. And as they pulled out whatever it was, however they did it, there was one very long strand of golden hair that got left behind. This strand is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 10 inches long.
All right.
That might be too long. 5 to 8 inches long.
I guess I was confused. I thought that Bryn was looking at the statue.
Yes.
He also is looking through the statue. And like I said, there's nothing remarkable beyond the shaping of said statue. There's no plaques, there's no explanations, anything like this that would give you any more context to what or who this is beyond you seemingly were expected to know who or what it was when you were coming here.
All right, I'll pluck the hair.
Okay. You have a hair, a golden hair. Nothing seems to happen when you pluck it. It is a hair.
Make sure you put that in your inventory. A hair.
You can if you'd
Big
like to.
golden hair, 5 to 8 inches.
I've got a hair.
I will.
The only other things of note, the man, the young male elf with red hair, was splayed as though he was felled in a battle of some sort with a mace that lies within reach of his hands. And the mace itself seems to almost point towards the glass case near the wall. Whether or not he was guarding it or what was happening, you're not sure. Presumably, he was killed in the interaction with this relic.
Killed by what?
The only things that you can tell from that are numerous claw wounds that mark his face and body all over.
Can we assume that things outside maybe did it?
It's possible. They fought with claws as well. You can't say for certain that that's what it was, but it's a reasonable guess at least.
Do we see any poison residue?
None that you notice immediately, but given that you think that this did not happen anytime recently, despite his lack of decomposition, the wounds are not at all fresh. Like, there's no blood that stains the ground anymore, anything like this. The body, despite looking new, quote unquote, in terms of decomposition, it does not seem like it was anytime recent. In fact, the male elf's clothing has been torn into almost, or not torn into, it's been kind of like ripping and fraying and things like this, as though the body has been laying there for an extended period, despite the body itself not decomposing.
I will pick up the mace and look to Rayland and say, is this a good first weapon? Can you show me how to use this?
I'm more of a finesse guy, but probably.
You want to look it over, Raylan?
Yes.
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check. Oof, wow, rolling fire. Jeez. While the mace itself is like a simple iron shaft with a very simple head on the end of it, you do notice the telltale signs of arcane sigils along its handle that seem to imply that it might be a weapon of some magical origin.
I'll hold it, try to balance. I can't really balance it like that, but I'll try to see how it balances. I assume it's a well-made mace. It's like,
yeah, unlike the clothing and other items that are in this room, the mace is very well made and it does not seem to have suffered any effects from aging.
this is a pretty good mace. As first weapons go, this is really nice, actually. You're probably jumping into the deep end with this one, but good luck. I'm gonna hand it back to her.
Okay.
Don't worry. I gotcha.
Okay. Do I notice the runes and stuff like that?
If you give it a once over and kind of look over it, you might not know what they say or anything like this. What languages do you know?
Oh, I think Orc and
Orcish
Gnome.
and Common and Gnomish.
yes, I think the only reason I remember it because it made me laugh that I took it.
Okay. You don't know what it says or anything like this, but you can tell that they are Elvish glyphs of some sort. At least they look like Elvish script. And so you just kind of hang on to it. And I mean, they look special. Hopefully it's meaningful and useful.
All right, I'll hold on to it. Is there any other exit or entrance in this room, or is this it?
This is it, as far as you can tell. And you guys have rolled quite well. As far as you can tell, looking around this room, there is the statue, the relic box, whatever, I forgot what I named it. And then there's the two people, one of whom appears dead and unburned completely, and the other of which appears to be under subdued flames and in a state of stasis.
So while they're wrapping that up, I'm going to join Myetharia looking over her acquaintance. I'll point out everything that you said, Justin, about how he seems to be some kind of suspended state.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull out my wand and I'll say, I have one more charge of Dispel Magic. We could try it, but I don't know what will happen.
I'm concerned that it's helping him stay alive, whatever it is.
It could end whatever magical effect is keeping him in this state. He might not survive, but he also might come out of this state and be able to help us and answer some questions.
If you ask me, we should probably wait and find what was in the box first. Could be around here somewhere.
You may search if you like. I don't see it anywhere myself.
Well, not in this room exactly, but those things upstairs seem to have a plan of some kind, and whatever killed this poor fella right here probably might have been one of them even. So
Seemed rather mindless to me.
didn't they say something about?
That's right.
Sounded like they had a plan.
To have some sort of intelligence to it. Enough to speak.
I say we wait to wake these guys up. Maybe take another look at what's going on. In fact, Winry, if you could, we have to break into that tower over on the river. Maybe there's some clues in there as well.
Well, he's lasted this long, he can wait a bit longer. If we do choose to use it on him. Shall we go inspect the bodies and the watchtower?
Sure.
I'm giving Winry Vigilant Blessing so I don't forget.
Okay. Bryn, you can add there's an item in D&D Beyond called the Healer's Mace to your inventory.
Ooh. Hit people and they heal.
It does not require attunement, so you are relatively aware of what it does innately, I guess. I'm not worried about it one way or the other.
I could take 10 minutes and identify it.
Yeah, I was going to ask him later.
I wasn't that worried about it.
I like how Bryn has had no weapon, and then she starts off with like a baller mace. I'm jealous. Rayland's a little jealous.
He's like, oh, man.
I should get into maces.
They might be a little big for you.
They're a bit clumsy for me. I've tried them before.
I know it's not something you're supposed to think about, but a halfling picking up a mace, I don't even know if it's possible.
This is not like a Morning Star or anything like that. It's a one-handed mace.
It's like a two-handed mace for me.
Right.
Yeah. It's a big mace for you.
Oh, it
Be a
doesn't
big
kill that thing.
war maul for halfling.
Do you heal people by hitting them with the mace?
No, but
Yeah.
it has one charge of Cure Wounds.
Oh, cute.
Oh. It's very handy.
It's also what, Steph, if you wanted to give up the rest of it?
+1 bonus to attack and damage rolls.
It's a +1 mace.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So 1d6 +2.
Very nice.
Her first weapon is a magic weapon.
Suckers.
You guys head back up the stairway then and back out into the shrine region, the bigger shrine region.
And they are gone.
No, the body's still there. They are.
Back in the tree.
Yeah.
Reset.
There's no change in them, and they appear to still be lying exactly where you had left them.
So we went to the top of the hill. You guys looked through the village already. We went to the top of the hill.
You could spend more time in the village if you wanted to. You didn't do an exhaustive search there. It takes a while to search through these ruins and stuff, so it would take time.
So limited on our potions.
If they head back to the watchtower, I'd at least like to search these bodies over. See if they have anything useful on their
Sure.
bodies.
You give them a little bit of a toss over. There's, like I said to Rayland at the time, there's very little of any real interest to them. They're largely in like a wrapping around their waist, and that's about all that remains that seems to be humanoid of them.
Yeah.
They do seem to have come from elves, though. They do still have pointy ears at the end, as though they were elvish in their alive state. And the only
what I
other
was
thing that you
thinking,
can
yeah.
find that's interesting about it is they both seem to have some sort of a necklace that you just now noticed that appears to be a druidic charm of some sort. You can place them as that, though not of any interest or use. They appear to be small whittled pieces of wood, something like this.
And just for my notes, the priest with the clawed face, was he also an elf?
He was. Yes, he was a young elf male with red hair. The rest of you then... Oh, Myetharia, you have anything else?
I was just going to say I'd like to go back into the village if Rayland and Winry are going to the watchtower. I'd like to go a little around in there, looking further for anything useful.
It would take you a while to do another search. The first search took you guys about an hour in order to unearth anything of any real use. And so it'll probably take a similar amount of time if you wanted to start searching the next underground built into the hills house as you're digging through stuff.
As we all start heading back in that direction, I would just say, I know that we have a lot of unanswered questions, but time is of the essence. I think we should probably make haste.
We were just attacked, too. It may be wise to stay together.
I agree.
Yes, this is very true. Let us follow them then, perhaps?
We've got to go past the tower to follow the river anyway, right?
You could follow on either shore if you wanted to, and the tower is at the midpoint of the bridge. But the bridge is only 50, 60 feet across. Like, it is not some massive spanning, like, Mackinac Bridge or anything like this. This is a footbridge across a very small little tributary.
As we walk, I will address Torrent and say, one thing that has come to my mind, which I'm mildly concerned about, is the fact that we don't have unlimited resources in the Fire Forest here to keep the fire at bay, and I don't know how much longer we'll be. Torrent, do you know how much longer the path you were taking us on would be to get out?
Well, if I was gauging my distance as well, we are somewhere around 6 to 7 miles in, and the path was to be around 15. So perhaps somewhere around halfway in terms of distance. If we were able to just walk straight out without any incident, I would imagine that we'd be able to do it in 3 to 4 hours. But the time here has been a little bit more adventurous than that.
That, and we still have this side quest to go on for this.
It might also be possible to find a place that's a little bit cooler that we might be able to stay. I have noticed that staying near the river, the flames were kept at bay a little bit. Perhaps inside this tower, or maybe in the village or down below the shrine, we may be able to survive if we were stranded there, even without the potions, and wait for you to come back. If we ran out to a certain extent, it might be more useful for Kristen and myself to remain, just without draining your resources. And
As much as I don't like the two of you separate from us, we may have to do that if we want to get through here without running out altogether.
Understood. We will talk about this once we find out more, as we get close to sundown. We still have a few hours remaining.
Yes, and let us see what this watchtower provides us.
The potions were 12 or 24 hours.
24.
Okay.
As you make your way back to the bridge as it was, there, like I said to the other group, and if anyone didn't read it at the time, the bridge fort itself stands in the middle of the bridge with a wall of some sort that seems like it could have swung out to close the bridge if it needed to. And beyond that is a tower. The tower itself is flame-free, though it has been blackened somewhat from decades of soot. And it also seems to be made militaristically. So there are arrow slits all along it, going up multiple floors that seem to have been able to shoot down and guard the entrance to the tower. The front door, as Rayland can attest, as he had pulled it previously, was found to be locked.
Winry, let's go back and pick this lock. You got those fancy tools from that weird merchant guy. You want to take a crack at this?
Did you already try it, Rayland?
Yeah, but I thought this would be a good opportunity for you to maybe.
Oh,
you know,
thanks.
let's try some things out.
Can you show me how?
Well played.
Yeah, So I'm gonna fiddle with it a little bit,
or maybe perhaps you give her the knowledge that you've learned, and I will allow Winry to roll with advantage, having seen what Rayland knows.
I did a little bit of this, I did a little bit of that, but I don't know. There's maybe one or two more tumblers that kind of tricky. Give it a shot.
What am I rolling?
You can roll a Dexterity Thieves Tools check, which is a dexterity check, and you can add your proficiency bonus, assuming that you are proficient in Thieves Tools. So your dexterity is +4, and your proficiency is +2, as you are... Oh, you're not actually proficient in Thieves Tools. Just +4. With advantage.
With advantage.
19.
Nice.
It is a difficult lock, and it takes you a while to figure out. But with Rayland's coaching, and with a little bit of luck, at the last second, just as you feel like your tool's about to break off or snap, you feel this click at the end, and suddenly the door springs up a little bit and opens. Just a little bit.
I'll jump up and down. We did it!
Yeah, good job.
Thanks.
Good job, Winry.
Wow, that looks
is everybody there right now?
Yeah, we're all
At
there.
this point, probably, yeah.
Everyone except Winry can see that Rayland looks slightly embarrassed. Winry, too happy and too excited, just looks thrilled with herself.
Rayland, you loosened it for her.
That fourth pin was a real difficult one. It was really binding.
I'm gonna sneak up in.
As you kind of swing the door open from Winry's hand, you notice two things. The first thing is, inscribed on the inside of the door are some arcane sigils that you think probably would have gone off if you hadn't been successful in opening the door, if you tried to go in a little bit less ceremoniously. By disarming the key, as you can see, the symbols are near the key on the other side, or the lock on the other side. It also seems to not trigger the trap, which seems wonderful. The second thing that you notice is that the door opens towards you, and inside it is another door. This door stands resolute before you, and painted on the door is a message in black ink written in Elvish, which you don't know, but the two elves behind you can immediately see over your shoulder. There's also a gold color knob in the middle. There seems to be no lock or anything to do with it around the door itself. There's just this like very bright gold knob right in the center of the door. The Elvish words, Myetharia and Jack, as you kind of peer around him to read them, say, "Friends enter easily, where strangers fail."
Friends enter easily where
Strangers fail.
Doesn't that just mean our elves are friends?
Are we friends?
What is it? Well, we did not know the people who lived here originally, so classify as friends.
I'm gonna end off and I'm just gonna read it in Elvish.
So humorously, and I thought that was big of a callback, so I modified it slightly.
I have to hit it with a staff real quick.
Do you hit it with a staff?
No,
Do you have a staff?
I don't have a staff. No. Would it be cool if I did?
You get one.
I suppose this has something to do with being Elvish. Oh, I cannot be sure.
Well, I feel like you guys are my friends, so
Thank you, dear.
I don't know if it's necessarily that we're all friends. It's if we were friends of the people who lived here.
Yes, those who inscripted this door.
Is there like a colloquial friendly greeting in Kalanis?
I mean, I'm sure that there is.
But it
Okay,
doesn't
I
fly.
say that. Does that do anything?
Yeah, speaking words does not seem to have any effect. You kind of list off a whole bunch of various greetings and similar words, but nothing seems to happen.
And I look at Jack really confused.
Hello. Hola.
I would like to walk closer to the door, and I say in a very confident voice, "Very warm greetings. My name is Jack."
The words echo back off of the wooden door towards you, and it stands resolute.
You said there's a knob on the.
There's a knob, but it's in the very center of the door. It's kind of weird in that, and there does not appear to be any lock on it or keyhole, anything like this on or around it.
Hey Jack, go ahead and touch the knob.
Would you like to make I know you were looking at the knob. Would you like to make an investigation check on it?
I will, sure.
Yeah, let him do it since he was close. Touch the knob. You know you want to.
Do it.
I was gonna push my way in and do it myself, but
12 investigation.
The knob itself, as you kind of look at it while Rayland says this, it's bright, shiny gold. It almost looks like completely untarnished.
Maybe unused.
Maybe you don't open it that way.
Can I see like a worn spot on the door that's not the handle, like along the edge, like someone pushing it, like a swinging door?
Make an investigation check.
or-
I'm gonna try one more. Very warm greetings. My name is Jack. What is your name?
14.
Very cute. The door does not do anything else to you as you speak the words. Bryn, as you investigate the door over his shoulder, you do notice that not a specific spot per se, but the door itself at about shoulder height seems to show some signs of wear, as though people were touching or pushing on the door itself.
Okay, I don't think that we use the handle. Look here where the wood is kind of more worn down here at your shoulder, Jack.
Your shoulder too. You want to try it?
Sure.
Step back and let her try it.
I'll give the door a little.
Just walk up and kind of
Push.
push it.
Yeah.
The door swings open. Without any resistance, the door, like a saloon door, basically just shoves it right open.
This door is a
So this is funny because earlier Rob and I were sitting at the table after the kids left, just flipping a bottle, trying to get it lit to land upright, and he was going to be really mad if I got it first, and I got it first. Twice.
She got it first.
As the door swings open, you do notice on the inside of the door frame, again, there are arcane sigils that seemed to be lit but not going off. You don't necessarily recognize what they are in terms of what they say or anything like this, but you get the gist of them being explosive in some way.
And the way to deactivate them was opening the door.
Correct.
Well, that-
But people would try and turn the handle, and that would
You're kind of
turn.
investigating how it looks. It looks like the way that they attach to the door has some very specific things to it. You know, anyone who touches the handle or knocks, perhaps, anything like this seems like it probably would have set it off, but just simply pushing it open as though you belonged
Oh,
there
I
seemed to
get
have no
it.
effect.
That's
Friends
pretty
don't
good.
knock on the door;
That's
they just
pretty
let
good.
themselves in.
I mean, friends. Well, yeah, but okay, yeah. No, that's clever.
That's clever.
huh.
Huh?
That was a good one, Justin.
Good job, Steph. Good job,
I
Bryn.
didn't figure it out. I was just pushing on the door.
And yet you did. Inside, as you push the door open, you find two seemingly dried corpses leaning against the walls, along with 2 longbows, 200 arrows, 2 short swords, 2 long swords, 2 daggers, and 2 chain shirts, as though these were armored guards. At least they could have been armored guards who had taken their equipment off in the meantime. The interior, as you kind of lick your finger and kind of feel kind of temperature, things like this, it is a balmy 130 degrees. While not completely unlivable, it would still be rather uncomfortable. Not enough necessarily to kill the guards, who seemingly refuse to leave their posts, but enough for drying out their remains well.
I was gonna say, did they have any wounds then?
No wounds.
Yeah, I was gonna draw my sword actually as soon as I
If
see
you'd
him.
like to, you could approach them to investigate them. You could make a medicine check if you wanted to know more about what happened to them.
I would love to. That is much better. 17 total.
There are no wounds, no damage at all. The drying out seems entirely natural, just from slightly baking in the heat. Beyond that, it seems like they probably died of a combination of starvation or dehydration. They just eventually couldn't survive any longer, but they seemingly stayed here until they did. There's also stairs leading up to the second floor, as this is like a round turret, as stairs go around the outside of it upwards to the next level.
It's too warm for papers or anything to exist.
It's not. They'd be dried and slightly brittle, but there aren't any papers on this floor. It seems like this is a guard post where there's like a table and a bench, as though people would have been able to eat there or rest there, maybe play games there, that these two were sitting near on the ground. And then on top of that table is all of that guard equipment. Outside of that, the rest of the room is empty.
Are they Shahalesti?
They do appear to be elvish, at least. They do not appear to be in Shahalesti garb. No.
Shall we carry on upstairs?
Head up the stairs. Quietly, stealthy.
Sure, go ahead and make a stealth check.
I'll follow.
You didn't give us the signal for stealth, Rayland.
You did.
I did! I just went like
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Winry, go ahead and make a stealth check.
14.
26.
She almost doubled it.
You slowly work your way up the stairs. They're like stone stairs in here as well, as the entire tower and bridge was made of some sort of stone. And as you make your way up the stairs, you find another empty room. The entire turret itself is maybe 15 feet, maybe 20 feet wide at any point, and it's circular in nature. And inside this room is a long table. On the table that you can see from a distance is what looks like a holy symbol in the shape of a setting sun on a long table. Next to the holy symbol is a large wooden map. It takes you a moment to orient your thinking and remember what you saw previously, but it quickly becomes clear that this is a map of the village that you were just in from beyond the bridge. There's also small carved figures placed amid miniature buildings that seem to represent possible ways to defend the town. Also on the table is a notebook. 2 books, actually. Sorry, 2 books. One is a longer book and one looks like a journal. And that is all that you can find in the room. And as you turn around to take a look for the rest of your party and kind of go give a synopsis of what you found, you almost bump into Winry on the stairs behind you again.
Stop doing that!
You. He gave the signal. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'll let you know next time.
Yeah, then everybody should come up. We're all clear up here.
I'll head on up.
Me too.
Okay. Upstairs, you find, as I'd said,
I'm gonna make my way over the books and inspect them.
Is there any turrets?
there's arrow slits. That's about all that you can get.
Yeah.
You can try to look out in the best that you can. They're like 2 inches wide, give or take, as you kind of peer out and look out.
That's it. Wow.
Well, they're made purposefully to not allow shots to come back in easily. It's very easy to shoot out through them, but not easy to shoot back through.
Looking at the map on the table, is there like where the fountain would be in anything? Is there any indication on the map that there's that statue underground or anything special about that area?
It does not seem to show it at all. It seems like it's more about the perimeter of the village as opposed to the details of the inside it. It shows the stone tree itself just as like a hill and the stone tree as a location in the center of the village, but it does not specify about the underground section of it at all, no. The little wooden figures carved are placed around the village, seemingly at what look like choke points, entrances to the village, as though they could be manned and guarded in order to defend this place.
You said there was a notebook and a book.
Yeah, it says that there's a long book and a journal. I don't remember why there's 2. I was going to look at this and see if I just wrote it wrong. A log book. That's what it is. I misspelled it. It is a notebook.
It's a long book.
So there's one that, as you quickly page through it, it looks to be, like I said, it's a logbook of comings and goings and things like this. There's names, they don't mean anything to you as you kind of scan by them of where people, it seems like, were staffed at any given point in time. There's a little bit of shipments of military goods, of a few bows and a couple hundred arrows kind of thing. Normal supplies sort of deals. The other book that Myetharia picks up appears to be a journal. It is written entirely in Elvish, and it has an author that has taken the name Burisrava. Burisrava. Does anyone speak Celestial? Hearing none, You don't know for sure what it means, but some of you can kind of get an idea that it means something like undefeated or something of this nature.
Indomitable, maybe?
Maybe? It's hard to tell for sure. You don't know Celestial, you're just kind of guessing at root meanings here. Never killed in battle. Something of this nature. It's hard to get an exact translation from root words. The book itself, as you spend a little bit of time kind of perusing it, seems to cover a few weeks, or in this case, as you get towards the end, the last weeks in the towers. In the tower. It's mixed with musings on the nature of faith, and it appears like a priest who underwent a conflict of faith as he is facing his own death. As you're reading the last entries, that he wished to convert to a healing faith before he died, but he didn't quite know how anymore. The logs kind of recount the tales of many refugees who spoke of fires that simply would not go out. Not even magic could put out the flames. The writer's body is nowhere to be found, but you could use the map and the journal in some ways to kind of plan an exploration of the village if you wanted to. The last note, the final passage, has something that might be of interest to you guys, and I will paste the entirety of it as I read it to you in chat. It says, "I tire of spending my days rescuing the burning bodies of survivors and tending to them to no effect. The last survivor I found was a woman who still believed that the living wood of an Etadar could not be abandoned. She asked for my help looking for her boyfriend. We found him in a hidden basement under the shrine of Anyariel, where he had gone to curse the Anyariel name, along with a dozen others of the townsfolk. The fire had somehow burned in from the roots of the shrine, and they had long since been claimed. Though not dead, they are despairing, and their curses haunt me. The woman saw her beloved and fled from me into the woods, seeking an impossible death. I found myself hoping something ate her. I never learned her name. I can do this no longer. To whatever God hears the prayers of the doubting, please give me the strength for the task ahead of me. I am going to deliver the despairing to the mouth of the White River upstream, where at least they can have some reprieve from the fire. May someone find what I have hidden. It would help bring to justice those responsible for the destruction of my beautiful homeland, for which otherwise none shall shed tears." Everyone would like to, and the elves with advantage, you can make a history check.
6.
Okay.
19.
12.
12, 19, Winry.
Yeah.
23.
Very nice.
You got me beat, Rayland?
3.
Yeah. Got someone.
The halflings 1.
Oh, no.
Winry, you know just vaguely of Anyariel. Like I said, she was a hero of these elves, some sort of holy warrior who had died before the forest caught fire. She was said to be a friend of the Fae, blessed by the forest itself, and many times fought darkness from an Etadar's borders, wielding a magic sword. Jack, you would know a little bit more, like I'd kind of hinted at before, but I wanted to get more specifics here. You knew that she wielded a greatsword carved of wood, which she used to defeat many monsters, including a black guard from Regesia and a rampaging golem of white clay.
It states that the fire had claimed them, though they were not dead. This is strange.
Are they trying to curse your name?
Perhaps because she was no longer saving them.
There is also, as you consider these passages, there is one additional set of stairs going further up if you would also like.
All right, I'm going to look at the stairs and say, Winry, why don't you take this one?
Okay.
I almost want to give
Watch
you.
her roll a 3 or
I
something.
almost want to give you advantage for being so hyped.
28.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, natural 20.
What is your modifier?
Rayland, you
8.
turn to say it, and you don't actually even see Winry anymore. She's actually already going up the stairs by the time you said it.
She pulls a Batman to my Commissioner Gordon. Gosh, that sucks.
That's what that feels like.
Winry, unfortunately for your 28, you make your way up the stairs and are immediately confronted by a locked door.
I'll go back down.
Okay.
Rayland, there's a locked door.
All right, let's go. Sure, let's unlock this door. We'll go upstairs, and I'll try to unlock the door first.
Make a thieves' tools check.
Justin, you said the wooden sword should kill the white golem and
A black guard from Regesia.
blackguard.
Black guard, one word. Like a title, almost.
I rolled a 20.
Very nice. Okay. You, this time, are successful in picking the lock on the inside here. You open it up to a third floor, which is, it appears to be largely a storage room. As you look around the outside, most of it is random junk, things that you wouldn't really care about, military supplies, a little bit of food, things like this. The only thing that really catches your interest is a section that looks like it's filled with housekeeping materials at first. But there's a small pouch with a note on it. And the note reads in common, "For later study." The pouch is maybe the size of your palm, give or take.
Can I look in and see what's in there?
You open it up and kind of look inside. You can see that it contains 7 small blackened seeds in the shapes of claws. A sleeping face is drawn on the outside of the pouch on the back, and there are words written in a harsh language. What do you speak?
Whatever it is, I don't. Halfling. That's it.
Okay. You don't recognize the language, but it appears to be full of harsh looking symbols. It kind of reminds you almost of Orcish in a way, but it is not quite the same either.
I'll hold on to it for a second, but if there's anything else in the... Actually, I didn't get a good description of the forest. I'm pretty high up on a tower now. I should be able to see pretty far, right? Over the...
You can kind of see, but you can't see that well. Because of the smoke that fills the forest, it's hard to see much more than 100 feet away. So even as you kind of get a good vantage point, you're not really seeing any further than you would have seen before because of the haze.
Okay. Winry, you see anything else in here? No.
Nope.
Nothing that really catches your eye as interesting, at least.
What's the note say?
What languages do you speak?
The cat language and infernal.
Cat language? You mean Orin?
Orin, yeah.
Okay. That's not the cat language.
No?
No, sorry. That's from your monk studies, actually. You don't recognize it either. You feel like you've seen it before, potentially. Maybe of someone who is in the troop. But the kind of harsh slashes and things like this in the language look like a kind of guttural, harsh tongue.
I assume we're all kind of making our way up the stairs, following along.
Sure.
Are you guys hiding that pouch?
No. I was going to actually give it to Bryn.
As you see at Myetharia, since you had the journal, you recognize them actually from the journal as you were kind of paging through. You're like, oh, I've seen a drawing of these. And you page to the right area and you're like, oh, it's right here. You read it, and the notes call these dream seeds. They explain in the journal that they're taken from corpses of goblins who helped set fires in the forest. The fires. According to a Speak with Dead ritual that was performed on these goblins, the seeds are supposed to create prophetic visions of a dream realm. But the writer, Burisrava, felt no effect when he tried one, and he risked not take another. As the note says, I've filed them away, figuring that they were likely useless, but I will return to them for later study.
It says here at the very end, he says, may someone find what I have hidden. It would help to bring justice to those responsible for the destruction.
Maybe we should make Jack eat one of the seeds.
Rayland.
I go, I actually read Orcish. That says dream seeds.
What languages do you speak? Just Orcish? Is that yours? Let me say it this.
I speak Common, Elvish, Orc, and Undercommon.
Goblin. By speaking Orcish, it's similar enough to Goblin that you get some idea. And so you get some little gist of it where it says something about eat, something about sight and fire, no, to, and the word poison.
I would suggest we not use these. At least, let's not delve into them further until we're safe away from the forest, where we can risk damaging ourselves if that is so our wish.
Yeah, let's wait for a Friday night.
There was a girlfriend looking for her boyfriend, and I'm assuming that Myetharia told us about this dude that he had recently gotten married and then got placed here. Is it the same guy, or is it?
I would have given you something brief, but I don't think it's the same man. If that's what you're thinking.
The girlfriend came to find her boyfriend, who was putting a curse down there. So is that guy who's in the flames down there the one who was one of the ones trying to put a curse on Anariel?
And Yariel. You would think it's unlikely. It would be a surprise to you if one of the elves of Inetadar here was hitched to a Shahalesti. The elves of Inetadar were not aligned with Shahalesti.
It does say that there are a dozen others with him in the basement. I don't believe we're the same.
Timeline, by the way, the most recent entry at the bottom of this is about 39 years ago, just based on when it was written. You know that the fire started just a little bit before that. It was give or take 40 years ago when the fire started. So the most recent entry in this logbook is at most a year after the fire started. More likely pretty similar in time frame. Since you know that he's talking about the fires not going out and being surprised, you would consider that the first entry that talks about the fire to the end is probably a few months.
I'd like to sit down and just ritually cast comprehend languages just to see if I can glean anything more from the book or the seeds. Sorry.
Any other conversation for the next 10 minutes?
What exactly did the dragon-like face say to us? Did he say you did come upstream to find him or downstream to find him?
Follow the river.
Oh, so downstream.
That's your choice.
Well, I mean, following it in the direction it's going, but it's dried up at this point, has it not?
The river itself, no, not entirely. It has been lessened,
Okay, all right.
but it still does flow.
I'll just say to the group, it does say in his last writing here that he said he was going to deliver the despairing, the mouth of the White River, upstream. And I was curious if that's wherever he hid he's referring to. But I'm thinking we have to go downstream, though.
I think releasing a downwell is the silliest thing I've ever heard, and
I do agree with you.
we haven't found anyone living to tell us otherwise.
I don't think the plan is necessarily to go straight there and free him, but to see what we can find. You did mention something about the 40 tongues. Maybe there are people there that can help us.
Maybe those people are upstream where the river provides reprieve from the heat from the fire.
Jack, after your 10 minutes, we're going to do this a second. You can read the words written in Goblin on the outside of the pouch, and they are instructions. They say, take 1 for visions of the fire maker. Do not take more. These are poison. I think that is about where we are going to end for tonight's session anyway. And we will make a decision on where your path leads next.